Welcome, I'm Javier Marti and we are on the next video of the series on seduction and attraction for men. Now, today we're going to be talking about online dating and online game. So the first thing that we want to do is to make a couple of notes there. The first one is that make sure that you don't use this information to manipulate or lie to women in any way, because that would be a waste of everybody's time basically. Okay, what you want to do is to have fulfilling, happy relationships with women in any way you want, and in any way you can, naturally, in a way that is compatible and positive for both of you. If you just try to sleep with her, I understand that that is not going to be fulfilling in the long term for you. Most probably it won't be for her either, unless you both want that particular goal. Now, it's very important that you take pen and paper, because we're going to be looking at lots of different points. Actually, it's about 35 or 40 points that I'm going to be going through regarding online dating and online game. And because we're going to be going through them very, very quickly, I recommend you to take some notes as I go through these things. Now, the next thing that we want to talk about is just to remind you that if you need extra coaching, if you need extra information, or you need my advice on any particular problem that you're going through, you can do Skype sessions with me. So just get in touch and we will go from there. Now, let's talk a little bit about female psychology, because if you want to attract and seduce women, you have to understand the main differences between males and females. Regardless of what society may be telling you out there, men and women are very, very different. They think differently, they interpret reality differently, they absorb information differently, and they filter information differently. So, as we know, men are usually, in general, a lot more rational, logical, analytical in a way. Okay, of course there are exceptions to the rule, as there are exceptions in women. Now, women are much more touchy-feely. Their imaginations is much more developed, and in what connects us to what we are discussing here today, their imagination has the potential, has the ability to much more easily connect with their physical body in general. Now, here is something that is very important, because if we want to connect with women and we want to seduce them, attract them, something that is very, very important that we need to learn to do, which is like the first thing that we have to concentrate on, is in learning to be good storytellers, learning to use language properly, because the better command of the language that we speak we have, the easier it will be for us to create the sensations that will make them attached to us. Let me show it to you on a little drawing here. Okay, so what we have, the main tools when you want to attract women, are words. Words for women very easily create feelings, of course, the right words. Feelings create attraction. Attraction leads to action. Now, all this seems very simple, very much common sense, we could say. But I'm going to be going through those steps and going a little bit more in depth, not in this video, but in other videos, perhaps some of the private videos that I do, so that I explain each one of these steps. But the most important thing for you to understand in this introduction is that words have an extremely powerful effect in the mind of women. And what you want to do is to use words very, very effectively through descriptive language, which are two keywords that you have to remember, because they're the most important two words when it comes to seducing women. And will create, first, igniting the imagination. They will create the physical feelings that lead to attraction for you, because those physical feelings will be associated with you, and then it will lead to action. At one point, naturally, of course, depending on the woman that you are dealing with, but modern women are much more likely than ever before to initiate action themselves. And that is also another important point, an interesting thing perhaps of how you can do things differently, which is also a very important point in itself that we're going to be discussing, so that you can be different and certainly become in the mind of that woman a different type of man. And that's very, very, very important. So let's get rid of this. Remember, words lead to feelings, feelings lead to attraction, attraction leads to action. So now, why words lead to feelings? Well, basically because women are much more connected to their physical feelings, and their imagination is much more strongly connected in a way with the physical feelings. Now, if you can ignite her imagination, excite her imagination, then that will naturally lead to arousal. Once you have arousal, and that arousal is beginning to be associated with you and the time that she spends with you, then it will be very easy for you to go forward in the process to attract that particular woman. So let's look at the next points here. And the first thing that we want to look at is that naturally, as women are much more sensitive, they will tend to respond much better than us men to feelings, sensations, sounds, smells, and so on and so forth. So it's very, very important that when you talk with them, when you are in the process of attracting a woman, you describe very well what you want to explain. But basically anything can be made interesting or exciting or mysterious, which is another thing that attracts women very easily. Once you have practiced the art of becoming a good storyteller, of being able to use adjectives appropriately, and of having a good command of your language, and particularly grammar, of course, so that online you can express your mind, but in a way that arouses the woman that you're interested in. So, as we know, going very quickly today, we're not going in depth in any of these topics. So we're moving on now. So what is in her mind? What you have to understand is that when women are online, even if they are open to meet new people, they have some very clear fears or questions that they want answered. Okay? I have about 7 of them here, which are the most important. So number 1 is she will be wondering, is he a weirdo? Okay, naturally women don't want to be associated in any way with people that are not relatively predictable, or that are so far out of the norm that, you know, will make them feel bad in one way or another. Now, number 2, is he a psychopath that will kill me? Okay, that's also another fear, that even though you know yourself that you're not, and you are totally okay, and you are not particularly planning to kill any woman today, this is something that it's in the mind of women when they meet a new man, and particularly when they meet a stranger online, because women are machines of making good guesses on how a man is if they can relate to him at a personal level, because they are so intuitive. But online they don't have that feedback. So it's very, very important for them that you make them feel safe early on in the interaction. Now, there's a little balance there between making them feel safe and being mysterious, which is something important as well, and we will talk about that later. But it's very important for you to know that one of the questions that they have is he a weirdo? Number 1. Number 2, is he a psychopath that will try to kill me? It's something that will be on her mind when she doesn't know you. So you always have to be careful with that. Number 3, is he solvent? Does he have a good job? The typical question, what do you do, will come very early on in their interaction with women online today. There are many ways to respond to this, but basically the main question that they have is very clear. They want to know, what is your social status? Because that's the way that women calibrate a man, among many other things, but this is one of the basic, most important things that they're interested in. Okay. Number 4, is he a liar? Okay, they want to know if they can trust you. It doesn't mean that they will be more attracted to you if they can trust you 100%, but they want to know that you are real, that you're telling the truth, that you are who you say you are, and things like that. The next thing, the next fear or concern that they have is he a player? Okay, this is also another thing that is very, very commonly asked by women. That is something that they will definitely want to know very early on in the interaction. Can they trust you? But how many women have you been with? How do you treat them? What are you all about when it comes to women? Now, the next fear that they have, or question that they have, is he a loser that no woman wants? Because naturally, if you are the type of man that will make her look bad in front of her friends, then that's not good, that's not something that she wants. But she also wants to make sure that you are not someone that has nothing going on for them in their lives. That's very important, and they will try to fish for that information very early on in the interaction. The last thing is he a potential provider? Is he a potential sex partner? Okay, once all the other fears, the other 6 questions have been answered before, only then she will start to think about how attracted she is to you, how attracted she should be to you, and how you may be in sex, and if you will be compatible. Make no mistake, this will be in the mind of women even early on in their interaction, naturally. Online she has seen your pictures, she has seen a description of you, and so she will know if she's physically attracted or not based on what she's seeing. After, what you are explaining, what you are saying to her will also be very important, but that comes after. So now, let's see. Let's talk about these 40 tips, 40 different things that we have to pay attention to in order to be more successful online. Number 1, get to focus. Get to know your target market. Get to know what you want. Get to know the kind of woman that you want, and always go for that kind of woman. Okay? If you try to attract all sorts of women, you will rarely be successful, because as you will see through the 39 tips that are coming now, if you don't know what you want, it will be more difficult for you to get the required practice and understanding of that kind of woman so that you can get her. Okay, so number 1, know your market. Number 2, strongly connected to this one, practice a lot. Once you have defined the kind of woman that you want and the kind of relationship that you are interested in, then use every single opportunity you have, even if you fail in a way, because there's always a learning experience with every one of these failures. Okay, so practice as much as possible, because on this, like in everything else, regardless of what anybody else says, this is something that can be learned, and this is something that you will get better at the more you practice. Number 3, be attractive. That's an important point there, and of course I understand that not everyone that is watching this video will be able to follow this one. For that kind of people, we have 37 tips more. But the important thing, and what is evident, and we have to get out of the way early on, is that the more attractive you are, naturally, the wider your shoulders are, the taller you are, the more fair your skin is, for example, for women that like that, the more you are the prototypical kind of male that women in your society are attracted to, the easier it will be for you. So do absolutely everything you can. Go to the gym, become stronger, have the right posture, talk with authority, express yourself in a way that is attractive, so that women will be attracted to you. Do everything you can to be as attractive as you possibly can be. Now the next thing is use studio pictures for your online dating. There's no point in you becoming so attractive if the pictures that you have are really bad. Okay, we go in depth in other videos a lot more about this. What kind of pictures should you have with other people, with women, with men, in parties? But those are not answers to be given today. Today, just remember this point. If you want to go more in depth, you can do it through the other videos. But today, remember, use studio pictures. Okay, the most important thing in online dating images are the lighting. The lighting is incredibly important. You need to have good lighting, and this is not something that mobile phones or bad cameras give you. So it is very likely that you may not have the best pictures that you can have that show how attractive you can be. So remember, you want to maximize results, so get studio pictures with good lighting, with the view and opinion and the angles that a professional can give you on this. It will be well worth your time, and it will be a good investment. Now, number 5, be genuinely confident. This is the most important thing. Okay, confidence is extremely attractive to women in general. If you don't have the confidence at the time, or until the time that you have it, you will have to fake it in a way as you practice becoming more confident. If you don't have the right posture, you will have to walk as if you have the right posture. You will have to model people that are confident, concentrate on them and imitate them until you have your own confidence. Okay, confidence is very important, very attractive to women. Next one. Build an interesting life. Now, this is also important because, as we say before, women want you to be honest. Women want you to be sincere. Now, if you already have an interesting life, if you have a lot going on for you, if you are a man of action, a man of the world, women will naturally find this very attractive in itself. So the more you can have a life that is full of people, interest, passion, okay, the more attractive you will naturally be for women. So what will be better for you than, instead of faking to be someone that you're not, you just attract them for being who you naturally are. Now let's go to the next one. Do the opposite of what most guys do. This is something that you should do in every area, but particularly when you are chatting with them online. You have to understand, like I told you before, that you should understand your market and the type of woman that you're after, her motivations, her life stage, what she's looking for, what she's afraid of. You should also understand what men are doing, particularly what men are doing in the same platform that you're using to connect with them. The more you know about this, the more you know how men are opening them, the more you know about the words that they're saying or what works or doesn't work for the men, the better in a better position you will be. Okay? The next one. Have a good profile text. Have a good profile text. That means be conservative in general, in the sense that understand that less is more. Okay, it doesn't mean that you should have just one line of text on your profile. They will naturally want to know more, but of course it's too long to be explained now in a short video. But make sure that you maximize also this aspect of your online dating persona. It's very important that you have some kind of interesting text there. Now, something that you can do is to put it through several of your female friends, never male friends, because your target market are not males anyway. But it's very, very important that if you can, you have some kind of interesting text, profile text going on there for you. Now, the next one. Okay. Connected with what we said before of doing the opposite to what most guys do, you have to understand that most guys are very soft in a way, particularly online. You have mainly two main models there. You have the ones that are very, very rude, very straightforward. They're asking them, hey, you wanna whatever, you want to sleep with me tonight, you want to have sex, your place of mine, things like that, right away, first line when they connect with them. And you have the total opposite, which are the guys, hey, how are you? They open with that kind of line, or how are you today, honey, or things like that. Very, very soft, very cheesy, very boring for women. So Do not be any of those guys, okay? Understand that women are flooded with that kind of messages, and they want something and someone that is different, someone that will intrigue them or interest them, or someone that will be fun to talk to. And when you say hello, how are you, or things like that, you just put yourself in the same box as all the other boring guys out there. Next one. If you can, do not start the conversation. Let her open. Okay, this may sound counterintuitive to you, but it's very, very important, because if she opens, then you have more power. Now, once again, the warning there, we're not here to take advantage of women in any way, but the game of, if we want to call it a game, the strategy of seduction is something that both sexes follow naturally. It's a kind of dance, it's a kind of game, and every one of the partners there will try to maximize his chances to get what he's looking for or what she's looking for. So in your case, what you want to have is to begin to build from the early stages a kind of image of yourself that she will have from you that embodies positive masculine traits: power, intelligence, action, things like that. So very important, if you can, that if you don't have to open the conversation, if you're not the one starting the conversation, that's a good sign. If she opens, then you will be in a better position to continue. You will be on a position of more power than you will be if you were the one opening the conversation. Right. Now, if you have to open with something light, witty, and fun. Okay. Now, the next important point is to randomize the interaction. Okay, sometimes you start the conversation, sometimes she starts. Do not worry about being predictable on your interactions with her. The fact that she doesn't know when the next interaction will take place will make you more attractive to her, will make her want to see you again. Okay, the next thing is always leave chats at the peak. Okay, do not overstay in a way that the chat flattens out. If you are the one leaving the chat before her, that is good news. Try to make it so. Always leave your interactions with her on a high note. The next, do not open with a compliment. This is something that too many guys do. No, I told you before, do what the opposite is of what everyone else is doing. Do not be grumpy. Another important point. Do not suggest sexting openly. Let her do it. Okay? Your idea is to be different to most of the guys out there. What do the guys want there? Number one, they want to take her to bed as soon as possible. Big mistake. Everyone else is doing that. She's bored of that. She knows that. Okay? Number two, they want pictures. They want sexy pictures of her as soon as possible. Okay? Once again, be different to most of those guys. The more different you are, the more she will wonder. Number one, why are you different? Which is intriguing. It will be interesting for her. But also number two, is there something wrong with me? Or maybe he doesn't like me enough. Why isn't he asking for sexy pictures when I know that most guys, that's what they want, right? So you want to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Do not ask for sexy pictures. Do not be grumpy. Do not talk about your ex-wife or children, okay? Which is connected with the next point, which is do not be boring. Nobody wants to hear about your problems. Nobody wants to hear about anybody else's problems. But particularly, women don't want to hear about men's problems. It makes us very unattractive. So try to avoid any negative talk as much as possible. Okay. In the same token, don't talk about work or politics, because once again, there are possibilities for misunderstandings or for you not to agree with her, and then that will affect the interaction and you're not interested on that. There will always be time later on to talk about politics and other things. Now, be a bit and fun to be with, particularly once she gets to know you. And regarding meeting, this is also something that you want to do. It's number 26 in the list here. Wait for her to suggest a personal meeting. Do not push it yourself. Once again, this is something that most guys out there will be doing, but if you connect it with the point of taking it as a long-term thing and being different to all the rest, if you can get her to propose a meeting first, that is good. Then you are in charge of the interaction, you are in a good position. That's what you want. So feel free to take it so easy, yet keeping the energy of the interaction so positive and so attractive that she cannot wait for something to happen. She cannot wait to meet you personally. She cannot wait to really see if you are as attractive in person as you seem to be online. So allow her to be the one suggesting that. The next thing is once the meeting is on the cards, propose to meet in the most abstract of ways, which means I will be on Friday around your area. Are you out? Are you free for a coffee? Let's go, let's do it. You see? Or I am going with friends this Monday to so and so. Come and join us. Okay? What you want to do is to present the idea of a meeting in a very simple, easy, fun, non-threatening way for her. That is important, so make it happen. The next thing, yes, be bold. Always keep pushing the envelope. It's easier to say, I'm sorry, than to go too slow. Okay, that will go against you and against your interests. Now, the important thing here is to be bold about things that the other guys are not bold about. Okay, so for example, if you want to be bold talking about sex with her, it's because she initiated it, it's because she started, it's because you know that she is in a aroused state of mind. Okay, now however, be bold, for example, in things like what I told you about before, asking her to do things for you, going the extra step, making her do things. That is being bold, because most guys most probably won't do it, and that's something that you want to do. Okay, never apologize unless you've done something really, really bad and it's really, really necessary. Okay, usually be bold, go forward, push with energy and passion. Women like that. Number 35, we only have about 6 more to go. Topics that you can talk about. Remember, travel, food, music, hobbies, romance and connection. Those are lots of things to talk about. Travel, music, hobbies, romance and connection. Okay? The connection refers to the connection, the interesting and very intimate, special connection that can be built between two people even though they don't know each other so much. That's a great topic of conversation once you have broken the ice with a woman. Okay? But in order to get there, talking about hobbies that she's interested or passionate about, travel and food, holidays, things like that, those are great conversation topics there. Stay away from everything negative like we said before. Okay, another point. Don't worry about mood changes. Okay, naturally you have to understand that women are cyclical and much more sensitive than men. So one day she will be in the best of moods, very open, very sensual and everything else. Maybe after 3 days you don't hear about her, and then she reappears and she's so happy again, and then some other day she's being a bit rude. Do not worry about this. Understand the psychology of women. We don't have time to go much deeper here. We do it in other videos or personally with me. But you have to understand that women are very different and they go through these cycles all the time and they're very sensitive to them. So when they're in a bad mood, you will suffer the consequences. Don't worry about this. Just try to make the interaction with her that day as short as possible, and then try to connect with her when she's in a better mood at another time. Now, having said that, hit the iron when it's hot. When she has those days where she's particularly energized, let's say, when she's particularly happy to see you, Make sure that if you can, you dedicate her as much attention as possible and you follow her in the direction that she wants to go. That's a great opportunity for you to go deeper into rapport with her and to gain more of her trust. Now, having said that, FaceTime is very important. Every second in your presence, there's more emotional investment on her part. And this is connected to the next point, which is get her on video as soon as possible. You want to get her on video so that, number one, you make sure that she's real. Number two, you make sure that her pictures were recent enough so that you what you're seeing is what you get, and is exactly the same that she advertised on the online dating website. Okay, and number three, as she has the same opportunity to see you. When she can see you before meeting you in person, she will come to the meeting much more relaxed, much more comfortable, much more open to anything to happen, because she's seen you already. It's as if you have been on a date with her already, even though it was only online. Okay. Finally, number 40, use contrast, hot and cold, in the same way that she will change her moods. Even if your mood is regular and stable most of the time, you can do the same thing. So remember, women like drama, women like the ups and downs. So if one day you're particularly moody, don't be rude with her. But if you're a bit more cold or more distant one day, that's not necessarily bad. Don't try to be always the same. Women love wondering, why was he different today? Maybe it's me, maybe he's worried about his job, maybe it's something else, maybe he's getting away. They like that kind of thing. So do not worry if you're not in the best of moods and you have some interaction with her and you know that she's noticing it. Just use that to your advantage as well. Those were 40 points, okay? This is an introduction to online dating. 40 of the things that we go much more in depth in other videos and in all the trainings. If you want to know more about these videos, get in touch with me through the websites, and we will go from there. If you have a particular problem, get in touch. We can do a Skype conversation online, 1 hour session. Usually I work in blocks of 1 hour. You can tell me your story and I can give you some advice on what's the best way to act in order to achieve what you want to achieve. Now, finally, women will be testing you all the time, okay? These are 5 of the typical tests that they will do. Number 1, I bet that you're sleeping with plenty of girls. Number 2, you're a player. Number 3, you're lying. Number 4, you have to please me, okay? And number 5, you have to court me. The best thing to do when you get these tests is to joke about them. It's something called agree and amplify. Okay, whatever they say, because it's a silly thing, just say, oh yeah, definitely, I definitely have to prove myself to you so much. I'm here actually working my life around you and your schedule. Definitely, that's exactly what I do every day. Do not take these tests seriously. That's the only way to pass them. So agree and amplify, remember, that's how you pass those tests. Now, finally, and on closing, always remember that real men are hard to find, particularly these days. Today, real men are very hard to find. So be the man that women want to meet, women want to attract, and women want to sleep with and have relationships with. Understand what men are doing out there. I can help you with that if you come to one of the trainings or you use the online webinars. But most importantly, understand the psychology of women and understand what they're not getting out there so that you can give them just that. Become an attractive man, become an interesting man, and they will be attracted to you. Be the man that they are looking for. Still being yourself. That's it from me. I'm Javier Marti from javiermarti.co.uk. And I look forward to help you at some point here or in the today or in the future. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. My throat really needs some water now. So really nice to see you. I see you some all the time. Thanks. Bye.